Okay, there are 4 things that we need to know when we are sketching a quadratic curve. There are 4 things that we need to know when we're sketching a quadratic curve. The first one is whether it's a negative or positive curve. The first thing is whether it's a negative or a positive curve. Now, I might as well write this down. Now, a negative curve is when the number in front of the x squared is negative. Okay? A negative curve would be like something like minus 2x squared plus da, 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 da. Okay? And this looks like a U shape. Yeah, draw this please, yeah. A negative is the symbol in front of the x squared is negative. A positive curve is when it's, I don't know, 2x squared. Now, the majority of the ones that we do are positive. And what shape are they? A U shape. Yeah, good. Negative or a positive? So that's the first thing that we need to know. You got those down? So the second thing that we need to know, the easiest thing that we need to know is the y-intercept. Y-intercept. And what do we know about the y-intercept? We have the y-intercept when, when x is equal to 0. Yeah, when x equals 0, because we're not going across at all, are we? Yeah. You have your y-intercept when x is equal to 0. Now, let's just draw a little thing for this one. Usually, let's if I've got y is equal to x squared minus 5x plus 6. If x was equal to 0 in that, what would our y-intercept be? Well, if x is equal to 0 in that, what's our y-intercept? It'd be 6, yeah. Oh, it's usually this last number, this c, isn't it? Yeah? Because it'd be y is equal to 0 squared plus, minus 5 times 0 plus 6, which we know is equal to 0. If it's in the format x squared plus bx plus c, then we know that it's just c. Okay? Does that make sense? But be careful, if it's in completing the square format, it's not the last one, it's not the last number for that. And that's because, I'm going to just show you, you don't need to write this down, but if it was in this format, this is not your y-intercept. Okay? Because if we put 0 into this, I end up with minus 3 squared minus 9, which is actually 0, isn't it? Does that make sense? Is everybody happy with that? There's some thumbs up, thumbs down for that. Can we see the difference, yeah? Let me move this one off. Don't get that one down. Yeah, if it's in completing the square format, it's not just your last one. What's the next thing? So I've got what the shape of it. I've got my y-intercept. What other things can I work out here? I did one right at the start of this topic. Oh, good work. Go on. Not the gradient. I think it'll be actually year 12 for the quadratics. Go on. The solutions, yeah. Where are the solutions on a quadratic graph? where they're crossing the, your solutions to these are where we're crossing our x-axes, So let's write that down for me. So question 3. Our solutions to the quadratic are where we are crossing our x-axes, which makes sense, doesn't it? Because if we make it equal to 0, what we're doing is we're making y equal to 0. Okay? And we know that when y is equal to 0, we're not moving up or down. That makes sense. If y is equal to 0, then we're not moving up or down. It's where you're crossing your x-axis. Our solutions to the quadratic are where we are crossing our x-axis. So let's just do a little picture for that. So here's our graph here. So these here, this point and this point, are our solutions, okay? They are our solutions. Everybody right with that? Solution, the minimum. No, not the minimum, no. The solutions are where we cross the x-axis. We're going to talk about that in a second. In fact, that's our last one. What's our last one then? Our minimum or our maximum, How do I find out our minimum or our maximum? In fact, just before that, what are the ways I can work out my solutions? What are the ways I can work out my solutions? There are 3 different ways. One of them is completing the square, good. So there are 3 different ways, aren't there? Yeah. The 3 different ways. So to find, let's probably write it down, to find our solutions, there are 3 different ways or methods, The first one is completing the square. To be honest, I think that's probably my favourite technique. What about number 2? Quadratic formula, we can use the quadratic formula, can't we? And what about number 3? Factorising, Now we can't always factorise, can we? We can always do those 2. There's 3 ways to find those solutions, And then what's the last thing that we're going to need? We've got the way it looks, whether it's a U or an N. We've got our y-intercept. We've got where we're crossing the x-axis, the solutions. What else can I work out from a quadratic? The minimum or maximum point. And how would I work that out? How would I find the minimum or maximum? What is it? Yeah. The last one is we can find our minimum or maximum by completing the square. And we have already had a look at all of this, haven't we? So, if it's in the format y equals x plus a squared plus b, if it's in that format, inside my bracket is the opposite, and it's the what coordinate? Inside bracket inside the bracket is my x coordinate, and it's the opposite symbol. Outside my bracket is the what? The y coordinate, and it's the same symbol. Yeah, outside my bracket is the y coordinate and the same symbol. In which case, what's the coordinate of this one here? Negative a and b. Yeah, our minimum for this one would be equal to negative a comma b. Inside bracket, opposite symbol is our x coordinate. Outside bracket, same symbol is our y coordinate. There's a lot going on there, isn't it? Yeah. We've got solving quadratics. We've got intercepts. We've got completing the square. We've got whether it's a max, positive or negative. Yeah, there's loads going on just in that one little equation. That one little equation. Should we have a go at one of these? I'm not going to make it easy. I'm just going to make it up, I think. No. I think I need to do one first, okay? Let me have a look at, let me try and find one. So try and find an actual GCSE question, actually. I'm just going to make it up. So, exam question. Exam question. And I'm going to write down here. I'm just going to literally make it up. Well, no reason why not. Sketch y is equal to x squared minus 4x minus 10. X squared minus 4x minus 10. No, I'm going to do it. What's up? Okay. So let's go through the 4 things we spoke about. What was the first thing on our list to talk about? Before that, Go on. Positive or negative? Yeah, we've got to see whether this is positive or negative. Is this positive or negative? Why? Yeah, because it's positive x squared. The number in front of the x squared is just 1, isn't it? So this is a positive. So the first thing I'm going to write down, 1, is it's a positive quadratic. That's really straightforward. Okay? It's a positive quadratic. So what shape is it? A U or an N? So let's just do a little U, if you know it's a U shape. We know that it's a U shape. Okay? What about number 2? What do we know next? What do we work out for number 2? The y-intercept. And what is my y-intercept in this one? My y-intercept, yeah, good, is equal to 0, 0. It's going to be minus 10. I'm putting the y-axis at minus 10. What about part 3? The solutions. How do I work out the solutions? Yeah, you know what? I think with this, we could use the quadratic formula. We could factorize if it factorizes. I don't know what this factorizes. But what am I going to have to do in part 4 anyway? I'm going to have to complete the square at some point to find out the minimum. Okay? So if I have to complete the square at some point, it's probably worth solving by completing the square and then picking out the cubics for it. Does that make sense? Okay? If I've got to complete the square in part 4, I might as well do complete the square in part 3 as well to solve it. Alright? So, how do I complete the square for this one? Y is equal to, go on, in fact everybody do it on your whiteboard for me. On your whiteboard for me, can everybody complete the square, please? I can give you 30 seconds. 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24, 23, 22, 20, 15, 10, Oh, I want you to complete the square for now. Show me your board, please. Show me your board. Let me see. Good. Shouldn't take it that long. Okay. Those who haven't done it, can talk through it. Let me see. Good. Talk through it, please. Yeah. So, what do I need to do first? Hurry up. What is the square bracket? Half the middle number, and then put that in a squared bracket. So, x minus 2 all squared like so. What do I then do? Were you here, Finn? Yeah, what do I need to subtract then? Minus the square of the inside number, which is what? Minus 2 squared, which is minus 4. Then I need to keep that minus 10 as well, don't I? So then I end up with y is equal to x minus 2 all squared minus 14. It's probably worth doing part 4 at this stage, isn't it? So what is part 4 and what does it work out for me? What is part 4, please? I'm recording, so yeah. What is part 4 in your notes? Minimum. And how does this tell me my minimum, please? Yeah, at this stage, part 4, it tells me my minimum is the inside is the what coordinate and what? The x coordinate and it's the opposite symbol. So what's my x coordinate for this one then? My x coordinate, my minimum here, is going to be 2. And what's my y coordinate for the minimum? Negative 14. So this one here, your minimum is 2 minus 14. Everybody alright with that? Everybody okay with that? Yeah, there's my minimum. And I still need to finish off what 3 is. So what do I need to do with this to find out what my solutions are? What do I need to do? Make it equal to 0, yeah? So I need to make this equal to 0. Now, if I can make, remember, I'm crossing my x-axis. So I'm crossing my y-axis when x is equal to 0. I'm crossing my x-axis when y is equal to 0. If I solve this, if I make it equal to 0, it tells me where I'm crossing my x-axis. So here, I've got x minus 2 all squared minus 14 is equal to 0. I made y here, to show you, I've made y here equal to 0. Okay, I've made y equal to 0. How do I go on to solve this then? Plus the 14, yeah, good. Which is what? X minus 2 all squared. Good, yeah. X minus 2 all squared is equal to 14. Then what do I need to do? Square root that on the side. What's the square root of 14? Plus or minus 14, yeah. Root 14, sorry. X minus 2 is equal to the square root of plus or minus 14. What do I need to take over then? Plus 2, yeah, good. So it's going to be x is equal to 2 plus or minus the square root of 14. And I'm going to say that we can work that out on our calculator, might as well. You could just leave it in surd form. Shall I leave it in surd form? Yeah, okay, I'll leave it in surd form. So my solutions are x is equal to 2 plus root 14 or x is equal to 2 minus root 14. Then I've got everything I need. Okay, I've got everything I need. I've still not got any marks, so why not? What's the question asking for? Sketch this graph. So let's draw a axis on these. I need all that information back, don't I? Find it in a sec. So here's my axes. Lovely axes. First of all, what did I say my y-intercept was? My y-intercept is minus 10. So straight away I can draw down here minus 10 as my y-intercept. Everybody alright with that? You okay with that? What did I say my minimum was? 2 minus 14, so 2 across minus 14 down, 2 comma minus 14, which is there like that. Now you might want to know what these are as decimals, so you know whether they're positive or negative. You can't really see whether it's positive or negative. Just very quickly on our calculators, let's work out what 2 plus root 14 is and 2 minus root 14. Just very quickly. Oops. Is one negative and one positive by any chance? Yeah. So here on my calculator, what was it? 2 minus root 14? 2 minus root 14 is minus 1.7. 1.7. Yeah, fine. And then 2 plus root 14 is equal to 5.7. 5.74. So it's roughly here, isn't it? So minus 1.7 is roughly here. Minus, I'm going to write it in third form. 2 minus root 14. Over here is 2 plus root 14. And then I just connect it all up. Remember, this is the minimum, so it needs to be, that needs to be the bottom like so. And then just go up and up. And there we go, that's it. This is a sketch, not a plot. What's the difference between a sketch and a plot? A sketch just is like roughly what it looks like with the key parts labeled. So our intercepts, our minimum, and our y-intercepts. Yeah? Everybody right with that? There's a lot going on there, isn't there, for one question? And Mark, I reckon this is probably worth 4, I think, 4 or 5. Yeah? 4 or 5. Yeah? Shall I show you another one? I just made that one up, didn't I? From that one, that's what I know about quadratics. From that one little graph there, just this one little equation here, there's so much brilliant maths. Completing the square, intercepts, maximum and minimums. Yeah? You could, if you want to, solve these. From that one little equation there, there's so much really good, solid maths to math. Yeah? Alright, let's go at another one. So we've got another one. We've got a few minutes left. And we've got 12 minutes, yeah? So can everybody have a go at, on your whiteboards please, sketching this. Nah, I'm just going to decide whether you mean or not. I'll do an easier one. I'll do an easier one. Here you go. Sketch. Do you graph on the other side, make it clear. You're missing out. A lot of you are missing out key parts of this. You need what things do we need? We need the minimum, the x-axis, and the y-intercept. Definitely that's so good. I know you're not getting it, it's not on your graph. Okay, this is one of the biggest problems I ever have with A level. Drives me mad, A level. Okay, A level students will do this. They'll just go. Yeah, no marks for that. The key ingredients are the intercepts for x and y and the minimum. Shall I start doing this? That's what you'll start doing it. Okay, so a little look then. So the first thing I do is it's a positive. Positive, so we know that it's a U shape. Part 2 is that my y-intercept is -2. Let's complete the square for this. Part 3 / part 4. So y is equal to x squared minus 6x minus 2. So y is equal to, open bracket, x minus 3 all squared, minus 9 minus 2. So y is equal to x minus 3 all squared minus 11. So my minimum is what? 3. What's my minimum? 3 minus 11. Yeah, my minimum is equal to 3 comma minus 11. Spot on. Let's go and solve this. So x minus 3 all squared minus 11 is equal to 0. Take the 11 over. X minus 3 squared is equal to 11. Square root that, it's plus or minus. X plus minus 3 is equal to plus or minus root 11. Then take the 3 over x is equal to 3 plus or minus root 11. And the key part here is that graph. Okay? So let's plot my axes first of all. Whoops. Here's my axes. Hey. Here's my axes. I've got an intercept at -2, was it? -2. 3 minus 11. You've got a crossing point over here at 3 minus root 11. And another crossing point here at 3 plus root 11. Which looks like minimum there. Oh, that is so bad. Okay? You lose marks with that. If I drew it like that, what I probably should do, you know the best way to do this? I'll show you the best way to do it. The best way to do this is if you know roughly where it is, forget drawing your draw your graph first if you can. So you know that it's going here and here. So then just draw your graph like that. Then you say that this point is 3 minus root 11. This point here is 3 plus root 11. This point here is -2, and this is 3 minus 11, yeah? That's probably the best way to do it. You've got to make sure that you know roughly where your minimum is. You need to have that minimum there, don't you? Could be the case that your minimum comes here. Alright? Let's do one more. One more. go. A lot of people make mistakes. There's a reason I've done this. What mistake are people making? Can't square root minus 4, can you? No. No. Can't square root minus 4. It wouldn't get an error yet. Get an error. Let me quickly show you. I've got 2 minutes. I've got 2 minutes. George, no. What? So, I've got 2 minutes. Everyone pen their eyes up. Let me show you why I've done this one. Okay? It's a positive. We know that it's positive. So we know that it's a U shape. Okay? We know that it's a U shape like that. We know that it's crossing at plus 20. Okay? If I complete the square for this, I end up with y is equal to x minus 4 all squared minus 16 plus 20, which gives you x minus 4 all squared plus 4. Now, if I make that equal to 0, the problem I have is I end up with x plus 4 all squared is equal to plus 4 is equal to 0. Get this down. X plus 4 all squared is equal to minus 4. You end up with a negative value. I can't square the root of a negative value. But this makes perfect sense because my minimum is 4 right, 4 up. This minimum is 4 right, 4 up. Which means that this graph looks like 4 right, 4 up. Crossing at 20, it looks like this. The minimum is above the x-axis. So there are no solutions. Still a quadratic still exists. Doesn't mean the graph doesn't exist. It just means that that minimum is above the x-axis. Okay? There are no solutions because it doesn't cross the x-axis. Okay? So you can't square root minus 4, but it's all there for you. Alright? Okay.